We're working with an incredible generation of men and women. And one of the things that's powerful to see is that no matter what they've been through, when they come back and they start to serve again here at home, they start to rebuild a sense of purpose in their lives. And they recognize when they are challenged by people around them that they need to come together in the face of this challenge. And they start to form new teams, and they recognize that there is still work that they need to do in the community. Now, for those of you who are actually from Kansas City and know that I'm from St. Louis, this will look like sacrilege to you. But this was a fun day for us. We were out at Wrigley Field. We had 80 of our veterans to go out to take the field. Now, as some of you might know, when you join the military, you take an oath that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. One of the things that we do from a leadership standpoint is that we help all of our veterans to build a new sense of identity here at home. And so what we do is all of our Mission Continues fellows, they take an oath that as veterans, they're going to continue their service to their community and to their country for the rest of their lives. So they're about to do this out at Wrigley, and it was powerful to see all the veterans come out, and they take the field, and the public address announcer begins to explain to everybody what's about to happen. For those of you from St. Louis, we have done this at Busch Stadium as well. And as they go out to take the field, what was powerful to see at Wrigley, 40,000 people, and every seat was empty, right? Because everybody was on their feet. It was a fantastic moment for the veterans who were there, but I think perhaps even more importantly and more powerfully for everybody who is watching them, right? They start to see this generation of men and women. They start to see how they're willing to continue to serve and to lead and to push themselves here at home. And what's powerful to see is that when they go back into their communities and they start to serve, right, the kind of effect that it has on all of the people who are around them. And we have generations of veterans who come out to work with us. We have guys like Boyd, a West Point graduate, who's actually a member, an alternate on the Olympic boxing team, incredibly capable guy. And I love sharing this photograph because you look at this and you think of everything that Boyd's been through on multiple deployments. You know that despite all of that, you would never, ever in a dozen years would you hire Boyd to paint your house. Right? like after all he's done. But what happens is these guys come out and they start to serve again, and we create new teams, right? And they start to have fun in the face of these challenges, and they start to support each other, and they come together. And what's powerful to see is that the message is that every single person can push themselves. Every single person can challenge themselves. Every single person can find a way to continue to serve. Even if you didn't think that you could serve again, you can find a way to continue to serve. And what's powerful to see is the example that this sets in the community. Because everybody starts to see in themselves their own potential to make contributions. It was fun recently. I got a letter. And it was clearly it was a letter from a kid because it was written on notebook paper with pencil. And I opened the letter up and I started to read it and said, "Dear Mr. Greitens, my name is Will. I am 10 years old. I have been training to be a Navy SEAL for 2 years." And Will goes on to explain to me that he's been doing push-ups and sit-ups, and he's trying to convince his dad to hook up a rope to one of the trees in the backyard so he can start practicing his rope climbs. And at the end of the letter, Will tells me that he's been really inspired by watching a lot of the veterans and seeing what they've been doing. And so he asked if he could meet with some of the veterans. So we invited Will and his dad to come down. They came down to St. Louis, and they actually met with a lot of the people who are on our leadership team and met with a number of the veterans. And in the same way that we challenge all of our veterans to push themselves and to find ways to continue to serve and to lead, we challenged Will. We said to Will, "What are you going to do now? All right, you've had this great visit. What are you going to do when you go back to your community? How are you going to serve?" And Will said, "Well, maybe I can raise some awareness and raise some support in my community by doing a push-up contest. And I'll ask people in my community to read a little bit about this generation of veterans and to come out and to support them." So Will and his dad go around to all of his neighbors from a small town in northern Minnesota, start knocking on doors, asking people if they'll support Will in his push-up contest. And the day of the push-up contest comes, and a bunch of members of the community come out. They go out to an American Legion Hall, and Will, who is 10 years old, in the course of 1 hour, does 638 push-ups, right? And I just think one of the things that's powerful to see is that when a kid like Will watches a veteran like Anthony Smith knocking out push-ups, there's a really simple message, right? And the really simple message is that we all have an untapped capacity for courage. And if we are willing to tap into that capacity for courage, and if we are willing to challenge ourselves, it is amazing to see, Right? Not only the kind of transformation that we can bring about in our own leadership and our own service, but perhaps more importantly, the kind of hope that we can create in the lives of others.